Hey y'all, welcome to Lovely J Podcast. This is Coco, and you gonna hear my heat in the background cause sister is cold. I'm cold, okay? And I'm just coming out my room at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and just been laying back there all in tears, just crying and dealing with emotions and trying to tell myself everything gonna be all right, just really trying to encourage myself right now in this moment so I can get up and still take care of my business. But I saw this morning the crows were knocking on my window, and I was like, goodness. And they woke me up. They were so loud. I told y'all they've been knocking on this window since Thursday. Since last month, July. And y'all remember I told y'all when I was talking about my ex, I said it was a lot of things in here that God was dealing with me about letting go. Well, you know how all things work according to his plan. And last month, God was dealing with me about things that were in my house. And I still got some stuff in here from when my ex was here. And I was telling my daughter, I said, well, I still got our covers and stuff. I never got rid of some things, and the Lord was letting me know to let it go. Because God knew what was next. I suppose I threw the covers away last week, but we filled up the trash bin before I could throw the stuff away, and before I could do the walkthrough in my master bedroom, which I have not slept in since he left. Since me and him broke up, I haven't slept in my master bedroom where we used to sleep. But the crows knocking on the window like that got me up. And I looked at social media because, if I wake up, I'm going to go on social media, even if it ain't for a second or two. And I saw when my ex-sister put up a post, she said he gone, y'all. She said he passed away. He passed away. And I know that that's all we've been through. After all we've been through. I don't know, but I never expected, if something did happen to him, for me to respond this way in this many tears. I didn't think I had that many, and I didn't think it would affect me like that, but I saw that. I lost my breath. It felt like my heart just... Y'all hear my heat in the background. I'm sorry. I don't know if I said it or not, but, my head is everywhere right now. But when I saw that, my heart just immediately... It's like I felt something go out of it. It was like, I don't know, I felt something go out of my heart. And I've been crying ever since. But I heard in a soft voice in my sleep, while I was sleeping, I heard the voice say it is finished. And I thought about Jesus on the cross and things. I thought about, that's what he said. But that's before I knew he had passed. That voice stayed in my head like in a dream while I was sleeping and said, "It is finished." And then that's when the crows started hitting the window and I woke up from the dream. And I see that. Lord, we got to start doing better by people. But it let me know that I'm human and that I'm not cold-hearted, and that even though I'm upset at what people are doing, I need to realize that there's consequences, and in life you're still going to feel, even though you don't want to feel. I didn't want to feel. I don't know what this will do to me. I really cannot tell you because it just happened today how I will be afterwards. I can't tell you because if I'm not mistaken, I said on that podcast last week that when I was supposed to be getting rid of his stuff, I said on that podcast last week that, I don't know what this means because I've never been without that stuff. So I didn't know what that meant for me. But I'm going to take it as a sign of God is sending somebody my way. And that maybe he didn't let me meet anybody else during the time he was alive because he knew what both of us was dealing with. It wasn't a matter of we wanted to be apart. We just couldn't. We weren't good for each other. We were toxic. But we still had our cares for each other. We still had our feelings for each other, and we still had some of the best times. That we still had some good times, and I can't take nothing from the bad, can't add nothing to the good. All I can say is that we were just us during those times, and when we broke up, it was bad at first, and then it got better. But he really didn't stop coming around me until he absolutely could not drive himself. He still came back and forth my house, and even if he didn't do nothing but to drive by and say, "Hey," and I walk out the door and say, "Hey," and he say, "That's all," and then he leave back out. I mean, I know I talk about it a lot, the ex and the toxic and the domestic violence things that I did go through, that we both went through. I told you I was an aggressor. He was an aggressor. We was on the same line of things, and I guess he just never thought that one of us would be gone, because I was sitting there and I said, well, he really did want to see our daughters, and now maybe God will give him that peace in that area, because he was angry with me about the decision I made about our daughters, because I was sick during the pregnancy, and the doctors wanted to terminate the pregnancy, and I went along with it. So he told me that was something he could never forgive me for, but hopefully he did. I think he did tell me one time that he forgave me for it, but he never forget. That's what he told me. He said, "I forgive you, but I never forget. You got rid of my babies." And every time we fussed, those kids was at the center of that argument, even though they won't hear. But, yeah, his name was Wilson Watkins Jr. He passed away, and I'm not the wife. And, I told y'all the story of how that went, too. So I'm not the wife. I can't say if I'm going to attend the funeral or not, because it's like I said, I don't know how. I don't know right now. Right now, I know I'm still in a state of, I know he gone. But then you know how your mind circulates and wants to know details and things like that. I'm kind of in that phase, and it's just sad, because I know if he hadn't had the lifestyle he had and I hadn't had the lifestyle I had, we could have had a great life. And not looking back to try to bring old things up or try to make it sound like one of us was better than the other, or we had this good thing going on, but we were the couple of our couple. I can say that. When we got along, we got along. But when we were mad as hell at one another, we were mad. I look back on some of it and laugh at how foolish we were out there in them streets, and people were just laughing about some of the things we would do to each other and say about each other. He always had a comeback line because he just had mouth for days. But he got where he would, when he found out that I was really in the church, he got where he would speak real nice to me. And he'd be like, call me, but I never called like that. But still, it's a grieving process. I do believe I don't know why I feel like I want to rush through it. I don't know how to be. I'm just going to let each day take its day of either sorrows or happiness. And that's all I can do, because my eyes are swollen right now. I just been crying because I look at this house. I told y'all every inch of this house has his print on it. And maybe that's why God had me. And I don't know if y'all remember, but when I told y'all that I prayed to God that morning, I woke up and I said, Lord, what will you have me do? And that's when he was telling me, redo the kitchen and get rid of those old things that, I was with him with, or anybody else. Get rid of the old stuff that was in this house. Make room for new things. And I didn't know where it was leading to, but now I understand. I understand now. Excuse me, y'all. And I feel so much better coming on here talking to y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all just keep me in your prayers. But I was just fussing in this kitchen by myself the other day. I said, darn, why Ralo put that nail in this cabinet like that? He put the nail right in the middle of the cabinet, but he did it so that he could hang a dish rag up, and so that I wouldn't have far to walk for the dish rag. That's why he did it for me. I wanted a shelf, and he, at that time his hands were going bad. When he got sick, y'all, he got sick when he was living up here with me, and I saw it, and I think what hurts me the most right now is that I know how much he really suffered, even though he played it off around people. I know how he suffered. He suffered. I mean, it was bad. Before me and him, I want to say divorce, but it's not a divorce because we were never married. But before me and him broke up, for years, for over 10, 15 years, I kept trying to get him to go to the doctors. I kept telling him, look, this is what these symptoms that you showing me what you have. So he really got bad, and it really hurt him when he got to the point where he couldn't sleep with me. He couldn't let me touch him. He couldn't be touched and things because he was in so much pain. I've seen the time when his feet would be so swollen, and I mean, he walked around with knots and a lot of pulse on him, skin busting open. He had lupus, and he had some other things going on too. But I saw what he was going through before it got to this point, and I really tried to help him. I was like taking him to the doctors. He was taking my medicine up. Like, if I go to the store and buy me Tylenols or ibuprofens, I'd be like, where my ibuprofens at? He be there, took them up. He was in pain all the time. All the time. So, I guess these are tears of joy, too, because no more suffering for him. Because I saw that suffering, and I just often wondered, how can that man just take all that? And he had to take them pills. He had to take the pills and drink the alcohol in order to numb the pain. And he had emotional and physical pain. When we first got together, he was affectionate. He like holding hands and letting people know, this my woman and things like that. And he very territorial. And we would lay in the bed. He wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning. He in the kitchen. I'm like, why you get up so early? He be done had the kitchen clean, cooked breakfast, brought it to me in bed too. He brought me so much breakfast in bed. Till we started getting bitter toward one another. But every morning I woke up, he brought me breakfast in bed every time. Till he left. Till he left from here. I mean, think about it. Every time till he left, it was breakfast in bed and things. Even when he'd be mad at me, he'd bring me breakfast in bed. But he would be up 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, what is he doing? He'd be like, I gotta clean up. I gotta do something. This pain, I can't lay down. And the only thing help take this pain away is I need to move around. And I didn't understand it until I started going through my own issues with joint and bone disorders. But, he fought a good fight. He fought a good fight. And he had life outside of me too, by the way, y'all. He had a full life. I mean, everywhere he went, he was the life of a party. He never met strangers. Never met strangers. Probably the loudest one, but I don't know. When he got older, his voice started getting quiet. But still, that was Ralo. That was Ralo. I have some pictures of him and me, and I don't have many pictures of us, and I have to find the ones I do have and see if they still some good, because I've had water damage here, so I don't know if they any good. He was 62 years old, and he would have been 62, I think. It was an age gap between us. It was a big age gap between us. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm going to tell you how big of an age gap it was. 13 years difference between me and him. He was my older man. I always liked it older men, so he was my older man. But he could not take pain. If y'all know somebody going through chronic pain, when they tell y'all they can't stand to be touched and things like that, and I believe a lot of his anger came from the pain he was in. And the pain he was in led to the addiction, because he was, when I first met him, he looked well put together, but then a few years afterwards, it was like each year he went down. He declined each year. But it's okay. He ain't got no more pain now. And only time I tell my story about him and me is either when I'm trying to help others to overcome issues that they may be going through, or if I'm saying something good. I'm not going to live in the past and stay in a bad state, because when he left here, we weren't on bad terms. We was on good terms. We could sit and talk and all that. So, and I think in some way he didn't want me to see him the way he was. That was the prideful side of him. He didn't want me to see how bad he had got, because he didn't want me to say, I told you so. Because I was always telling him that, I told you. Take this. I was like his nurse and his doctor the whole time we were together. But I always knew what could make him feel better. because I had to study. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I spent a lifetime of studying on different ailments, illnesses, mental health illnesses. With him, I had to study so I knew how to handle him. And I would leave him paperwork. Like if I had to go somewhere, I got where I brought a computer and a printer. And I would print out what he needed to learn about his condition. Because I knew he wouldn't take it from me if I told him. But he do like to read. So I would leave him letters and stuff up on the counter so he could read. And then in about a week or two, I see him doing what the paper say do. The paper say eat fruits and vegetables. I see him eating them fruits and vegetables. And, watching what he eat. He couldn't eat. He loved pork, but pork didn't love him. So, yeah. It's hard to believe he gone, but I won't be selfish. One thing I learned is not to be selfish with time, with nobody's time. Don't ever be selfish with somebody's time or take it for granted while they're on this earth. Now, for me and him, the best way we got along was from a distance afterwards, because we had already been made up in our mind that was it, but we knew we kind of still had feelings for each other. But, sometimes love means, separating. And that's the best form of love you can do if you're in a toxic relationship. Don't try to hold on, but you can separate, and then hopefully you can remain friends, because we remain friends. Just really hard pill to swallow, but I'm glad I'm at least talking about it, and I do feel a lot better since I come on here talking about it. And I'm praying for the family, his sisters, his kids, his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I'm praying for all of them, and anybody that he was involved with, praying for them, his friends. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or not. I don't know. Because I don't know. I didn't get in on that side of his life like that once we broke up. And y'all know I went on to be in a situationship, so he probably was in a situationship too. Because one thing about both of us, we knew we looked good. We knew we wouldn't stay alone by ourselves. And he tell you right quick, I got about 5 houses I can go to. I can look back and laugh about all that stuff now. We were so silly. That's why my next relationship, I don't mind being silly, but I don't want to be to the point where life becomes so serious that you don't take time to love correctly. You can't rush love. You can't hurry love. You can't pinpoint who to love and how to love, when you're going to fall in love. You can't do any of that. That's all God's timing. And I know you think you're doing it on your own, but you really can't. So I hope maybe when in the dream I heard it is finished, maybe that meant that this chapter, sorry. And that's what I gotta accept. That this chapter of my life has ended. It closed with him. And maybe that's why God wanted me to get, go ahead and get the stuff out of my house. Just prepare me for my new. And sometimes we don't want chapters to close because it's comfortable where we at, And I often, question myself, like, why didn't I really try to get back out there and date and things? Was it because of him, or what? Was I scared to date? Was I thinking that there might have been a chance for us to get back together? No, I want none of that. I just knew I needed to wait, take my time. I just knew I needed to do that. But when the chapter ends and you're not ready for it, that's the curveball that God will throw. And you have to go with whatever God says and how he says it. And lights, I don't know why you blinking, but you can stop. You have to go with whatever God says. Stand on the word. Have faith. Be of great courage. And, they always tell me don't speak ill of people who are deceased. So that chapter's ended. It ended. It lasted a long time. A long time. It lasted a long time. And when we were together, we felt like we had been together for a lifetime anyway. So it lasted. It was there. So I'm just going to tell people today when they come in, if I start crying, if tears start rolling out my eyes, just keep doing what we're doing. Don't stop. Just know this is just part of my process of how I deal with things, because I learned to not hold things in, don't bottle things up, because I know what it does to me. I'm not good with grief. I'm not good with grief at all. I don't know anybody who is. But I know from my past experience with grief, I shuts down and it don't be good. I end up sick and stop eating all that. And I'm not trying to go that route this time. So thank God for my plus size grandma, which started this originally for mental health, this podcast. And yeah, that's about it though. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. And I got to find something to eat. I ain't ate today. Find me something to eat. Yeah. So peace, love, and happiness. Till next time.